Welcome to day 46 of Savage Cash. Here with me, Supoman, your superhero cryptocurrency podcaster. In today's episode, I am going to be telling you about the hot piece of coin that I've gotten my students involved with today. It is so hot here in the UK. It's boiling in my place right now, and it is boiling on Bittrex. Now let me show you why. Because of this currency here, Patientry, or Patientori, however you want to pronounce it. Now, Patientori was actually quite invaluable. It's an undervalued stock yesterday, okay? It was at kind of 13 cents, and then overnight it really went up to about, well, until this morning, where it went up to about 33 cents. And I got my students that have been kind enough to basically buy the Cryptocurrency Investment Course 2017 at $10, and I have set up a group for them all to talk and where I post my tips. And today, my big tip was Patientry, okay? And let me show you exactly what happened. So, this is what happened overnight, okay? It was quite a big spike up, and then there was this consolidation point. Okay, so if I get my trend lines and basically map out the support and resistance lines, okay, so here was the resistance line, here was the support line, okay, so this was the point at which the price was kind of toing and froing, okay, it was selling, buying, a lot of what I've been telling you about Sia Coin recently, actually, and to be able to know where the coin is going and what the next kind of price movements are, you've got to either break down, which is where the seller resistance breaks the buyer support barrier and goes down, or buyer support breaks the resistance barrier and goes up. So what I was doing earlier was I was having a look at this line and seeing how the coin was reacting, okay? And then what I noticed, if I just get my little sketcher, what I noticed was there was a W right there, okay? And it was at that point that I saw that something was going to happen. But I didn't put my chips in until I knew this wasn't followed by an M. So if I just show you right now, there was an M starting to form. And I was thinking, well, I don't want, before it surpasses the resistance line, to all of a sudden go down. So I was keeping a good eye on it and making sure that wasn't an M. And what actually happened was it went like that, and then it just carried on going like that. And I just thought, yes! So at the point where I saw an M wasn't going to form, in fact, instead of going down, it went up. I put my chips in, and I posted this to my group members, the people who are students on my cryptocurrency course, and said, go in now. And this was when the price was at around 13, it was at 13,800, okay? And then since then, it's gone up to 16,229. Look at that. So it went right up. So as you can see, it broke the resistance line. And then we had some really good buying happening. And then we had this massive sell candle, okay? And so people were ducking out. People were in my group and they were saying, right, I'm out. I got out whilst it was at this point. So they made, you know, a little bit of money on whatever they'd invested in. They made more than they had literally 10 minutes before, but they got out at this point. And people were saying, should we get out? Should we get out? And I said, be patient. Okay, so whilst that was happening, I did another analysis. Okay, so this was the resistance line. I plotted another support and resistance line. Okay, and I was thinking, right, which is going to win? This is going to dictate what happens as a result of this slump, okay? And look what happened. It broke through, and it broke through in a fantastic way, okay? And the same thing has happened again, okay? The buyer support is amazing for Patientry at the moment. It's absolutely amazing. And look at the amazing high, okay? So people, and this is the problem with day-to-day trading, is people want to get out when they have made a bit of money and they see it going right down. Okay, and really the name of the game is having patience and staying in the game. Staying in the game. There are so many people that have been shaken out of the game because of things like this, things like this and this, people get shaken out of the game. Okay, so what they think they are going to do is if essentially what they think is going to happen is they are going to sell high and then they are going to reclaim the coin when it's gone down, because that is what this gave the this is what this gave the impression of, because it went right down from kind of 1500 down to just below 1400. So people thought, right, I've sold at 1500, I'll buy now at the top 13,000, not 100, 13,000. I'll buy at 13,900, and then if it goes up, I'll ride another tail, but I've made some money, okay? But what would have happened is if you kept your coin, you would have made a ton more money, because you would have bought lower certainly than buying at this point, and made even more money. So staying in the game is absolutely essential. Okay, now, people do get anxious. People say, when is the time to get out, Superman? When should I cash in? The question isn't when should I cash in, is when do you want to cash in? Okay, do you want to make, a fairly good kind of return on your investment, or do you want to make a massive return on your investment? And so what that means is that you don't get out until you have made enough to justify this being a very good investment. Now, people are thinking, well, how do I know when it's going to stabilize? When do I know when it's reached its upper limit? Okay, what you do is you create a sell order on Bittrex when you go to sleep at night. If you've been keeping and monitoring the movement of the coin, you place a sell order. Okay, so let's just have a look. Okay, so let's assume I'm going to bed now. All right, so, and this is the price when I go to bed. This is the price I bought at. This is the price when I go to bed, okay? So, worst case scenario is it drops. So what you have to decide is, at what point am I happy to sell it all off, okay? If it goes down, what point am I happy to sell it all off? Because what can happen, and let me just be absolutely frank, is it could go down to here, overnight and then go all the way up here at the same time by the time you wake up, and at which point you kind of check the price of the coin in the morning, you see it's gone up there and you're like, yes, I've made even more money. But actually what happened is it dropped below your sell order, and therefore it sold all your coins before it made you even more money, and then you end up leaving with egg on your face. But at what point do you put the sell order? Do you put it right down here when it goes down to the top of the latest consolidation? Do you put it down here so you break even, so that at the very least you don't lose anything? You haven't lost your initial investment, but you give enough scope for the price to fluctuate and eventually go back up. Because this happens all the time with coins. It happens all the time. You see it with virtually every single decent coin. If you look at their trajectory, most decent coins have had this massive drop, and then it goes right up way, way higher than it was before. In which case, you stand to really lose a lot of money. So if you put a sell order at the point that you break even, you don't lose money, but then you give it scope to at least make you more money. Okay, because at the very worst, if it sells at break-even point and goes down a bit lower, you can buy more coins because you'll be buying them cheaper than you bought it at this point. So it's at what point do you want to leave? Do you want to, essentially want to make, do you essentially think, right, it's gone up to here, I've made a really good return on my investment so far. If it goes down to here, I'm happy to sell. If that's the case, you put your sell order here. But it's not up to me to tell you when to leave the trade. It's not up to me to tell you, at what point you should leave. Because what happens is you say, Superman, when should I do it? And I say, okay, put your sell order right there. And then all of a sudden, you sell all the coins. It goes up, 10 times where it was. And you say, Superman, this is your fault. And I don't want to be the person responsible, for, making less than you could have made. So it's not up to me to tell you, which is why I bring you a podcast, which is why I bring you a course, which is why I've created a group. It's really to tell you what is the potential hot stock. What is the potential coin that you can make a lot of money off? You can put a load of money in, and I did this morning. That is exactly what I did. When it was in this consolidation period, I was putting money into Coinbase from my bank account. I sent it over from Coinbase into Bittrex, and I bought. It came in at this point, and I was just waiting to see what the coin would do, and it went up, and I chucked a ton in, and it's still in, and it will stay in, okay? And it's going to stay in. I haven't created a sell order. If I was going to create a sell order, I would create it at break even, because I want to give this scope. This is a well talked about coin. You can read up on it. Read up on Patientry. I like, you know, what it stands to achieve. I like the sector it's in. I like that. I think it's got tremendous growth. It's got tremendous capability to go high. So I don't play short games. I very rarely play the short game. I only play the short game when it is a short game. Okay, when it is literally a piece of news, like with Digibyte, that affects the price for about 3 weeks. There was this competition, there was Minecraft, the price went right up. I played the short game there. Okay, and I'm quite happy I did, because as far as I'm concerned, Digibyte has a lot of work to do. They've introduced an artificial intelligence robot called Emma today, which people think is going to grossly inflate the value of Digibyte. I don't think it's going to have too much of an effect. I don't think it's going to have as, you know, spellbinding an effect as the competition or Minecraft, but you never know. But that was a short-term game. But most games I am in for the long term. Can you go away? Most games I am in for the long term. So you won't really ever see me, you know, making a short amount of gain and selling while it's high. I mean, I do sell when it's high, but I tend to sell when it goes up way more than this. Way more than this. And I've done this with quite a few stocks, but most of them are long games. Most of them I am in for the long term, like Litecoin, you know, like Ethereum Classic, like BitShares, like Syscoin, like Siacoin, like Doge. Not all of them are going to make the same rates of growth. You know, Doge is kind of quite a sidestepper. It's not really going, you know, vroom, vroom, like it was last month. Last month, it went up way high. It went up so high. And then this month, it's just kind of incrementally gone up. And I'm happy with the little gains. And I'm not going to sell because I don't think the price is going to go as low as it got when I got it. I got it under 100, and it's been consistently above 115. It keeps on moving up. So, you know, it's up to you where you get out. Okay, it's up to you. How much do you want to make? Do you want to make a little? Do you want to make a lot? Do you want to hedge the risk? Do you not want to go back to the point at which you invested, because that means that you haven't made, you know, a massive percentage, massive return on your investment? It's up to you. Completely up to you. But what I will say to you is that if you want to be in with a chance of knowing when the hot stocks come out, the best thing to do is to invest in the cryptocurrency investment course, because you will earn while you learn, okay? Because you are going to learn cryptocurrency, you're going to learn, you know, technical analysis, you're going to learn about ICOs I've gotten involved in recently, which you can't know unless you're in this course. And not only that, but I have now got a really good community together, the student community from this course. They're a really good community. They all have differing levels of knowledge. There are some that are complete newbies and some that are very experienced, and they are able to read what's going to happen. So, for instance, one of my students did actually say about Next, and said that Next has got really good potential in the next few days, and I quality checked that, and the sources ring true. Okay, now the thing is with cryptocurrency, and this is what a lot of people say, is, oh, you know, if I invested it, Superman, is it going to go up? How long should I stay? Look, you basically make the trades at your own risk. Okay, it's completely up to you. What happens as a result of you buying it is completely down to you, not to me. All I can say is what I have read, what I have seen, and what I am doing. And if you want to follow that, that's up to you. But that's not what I necessarily recommend. You've got to play your own game. You've got to learn how to play the game. Okay, as I've said before, I don't want to give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish, so that you can go on here and you can go on Bittrex and you can essentially just find all the stocks yourself. You don't need me. Okay, that but I've got a really good community. We're all talking to each other. To be honest, I'm probably speaking a lot less than most of the people in that community. A lot of people have a lot of knowledge and say that buying NXT around this point right now is a good time to buy. And I've quality checked this and I agree. Anything around this price right now is good. Over the next couple of days, it should have some pretty interesting movement. There have been a few commentators in the cryptocurrency area that are saying this is looking pretty good right now. Okay, so you can only really act on that. There's no certainties, there's no guarantees. Okay, I've been right with NXT before. I'm hoping I'll be proved right again, but what I will say to you is I'm not right all the time. I'm not right all the time. I thought Digibyte was going to be much bigger than it was, and then when they lost this competition and when the Minecraft implementation wasn't as big or as grand as it was supposed to be, it actually lost a ton of value, and, it just sank. It went from being 0. I started by buying it at ½ cent, and it went up to 6 cents, and I made a ton of money. I thought it would go up more, so I left my money in, and I sold it just under 5 cents. I'm happy to admit, I could be wrong sometimes, okay? But succeeding in cryptocurrency doesn't mean that you need to be right all the time. It just means that you need to be right most of the time. And if you're right most of the time, then that means that you're going to be making money most of the time, okay? And not losing most of the time, which a lot of newbies do. A lot of newbies buy high, they sell low, rather than what you should be doing. And that's simply because they get shaken out. It's easy to get shaken in cryptocurrency. It's easy to see, Counterparty doing really well today, and then all of a sudden, tomorrow, it goes slightly down and everybody's out of there. Everybody's out of there. And all of a sudden, it just plummets, and that's just the name of the game. It happens. People get shaken out of playing the long game, and then in a week's time, this is right up. People are kicking themselves. So, I always say buy at your own risk and sell when you think it's right. Don't sell when I tell you to. You can make more money than me selling at the point where you would be happy, selling at the point where you realise the long-term value of a coin. Now, in the next podcast, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing more technical analysis, okay, and strengthening really the people, you people who have been kind enough to watch me, to subscribe to me, to buy my course, to invest your time in me and invest your trust in me. I am going to be looking to increase on my technical analysis, classes, my technical analysis podcasts, in order to make you even better at cryptocurrency trading than what you are now. So I hope that this has helped you. I've given you 2 tips. Admittedly, they're late. If you basically were one of my students, you'd have found out about it at the point that I bought. I went on to my community and I said, I've bought now. If you're interested, buy now. Okay, people did. Okay, people have made some good money on Patientry. Okay, so if you're interested, the cryptocurrency investment course is right there. You go into it, you look in the announcements, and you will see the link to my community. You can join them. You can be part of it. You can be privy to the best information live and in real time before the price goes way up like Patientry. And you're finding out about this whilst it's at a very good high since the other day. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next podcast.